Hey guys, it's Rivian Updates. My name's Isaiah. I just got back from California from the Rivian R2, R3, and R3X event. However, I want to get into some serious Rivian news. Right before the unveil, it was announced that Rivian has a new van deal, and so I want to take this video to talk about it. As of right now, we know the first official partner is at&t. at&t has started their own pilot program where they will be testing Rivian's Rivian commercial van, the RCV. Uses the same platform, it is essentially the same van as the Amazon EDV, electric delivery van. We also have a few other companies like Tire Rack, which is a tire distributor. We also have Australian mining company Mevco. They are now using Rivian vans. And there are a few other companies here and there that are also pilot programming Rivian's vans. Now, this van deal has actually nothing to do with the van itself. It actually has to do with the chassis and internal components. That's right. A company called Morgan Olsen, who makes a lot of vans for UPS, USPS, FedEx. They used to make vans for Amazon. They are a box truck maker and they are making an electric van. And who are they using the parts from? Well, it's Rivian. They're going to be using the Rivian van parts, the chassis from the powertrain, like the high voltage battery and wiring, the enduro motors, and then a lot of the internal parts, like the chips, the seats, the driver's display, as well as some of the safety hardware like the cameras and radar. All of these parts will be used in their new C250E van that is being used by the Canadian Postal Service. Now, currently, the Canadian Postal Service uses gas-powered versions of the Morgan Olsen C250 van. However, about 7,000 of the electric versions, the C250E, will be delivered and in service by 2030. And that's about half of the Canadian Postal Service's existing fleet of vehicles. The first electric models will be deployed in the British Columbia and Quebec. Rivian has expanded its reach without actually having to manufacture direct vans. This is not a van that Rivian's going to have to produce on their own production line. They're going to be selling at a profit the enduro motor, the high voltage battery, which is assembled in Normal, Illinois, shipping that all the way to Morgan Olsen, and they're going to manufacture these vans to then sell them off to other fleet users and the Canadian Postal Service. The first non-Rivian van application for that skateboard is a partnership with Morgan Olsen and the JBPCO family of companies. Because the C250E is designed for the Canadian Postal Service, Rivian will have to make a few design changes to the chassis to accommodate a right-hand drive configuration. Essentially, the chassis for the C250E is primarily an off-the-shelf platform, with few alterations to the manufacturing facility or additional internal investments. What this means is that the chassis fits almost perfectly with the C250E box truck itself. However, a few alterations will be made to make sure that it accommodates with the van, with the chassis. The EDV chassis kind of shifts together with the Morgan Olsen body. However, these changes are not something that's going to really affect Rivian's manufacturing line. Now, I hope in Q1, RJ or CFO Claire McDonough say something about this partnership. This was actually posted, for what I saw first, on LinkedIn by the senior manager for fleet sales at Rivian. The person who manages the fleet sales of the EDV and the R1T and R1S for fleets posted this first. And this van was actually in Indianapolis at a fleet commercial body truck show, and it was just kind of there on display for people to see, and this is the first time we're seeing it powered by Rivian. Now, Morgan Olsen has been working on this truck for actually a few years now, about 1 to 2 years, but they haven't found someone who's going to be able to take on a lot of the responsibility for building, the chassis, for building the battery, the motors. Morgan Olsen has history making trucks. They know what works and what doesn't. However, they likely don't have the means to be able to produce high voltage wiring, high voltage batteries, a lot of the safety features, the software that goes into the Rivian commercial van. They're not going to be able to implement that into their own van without having to go through a lot of work. They don't have to put a lot of investments in. They just be able to buy it from Rivian. Rivian is able to profit off of that. Rivian, Morgan Olsen have come together. They're making a new van. Morgan Olsen is building in-house. They're going to be using Rivian parts, and these vans will first be used by the Canadian Postal Service. Anyway, that is pretty much all you need to know about Morgan Olsen and Rivian's collaboration in making the C250E van. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. As I said, all of my sources and information, more of that will be found in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Isaiah, this is Rivian Updates, and I'll see you in the next one.